Welcome to the Unblock Your Business podcast. I'm Abby Rogers, success coach, business coach, and hypnotherapist, and I help high achievers and business leaders to take control of their minds to achieve incredible success, smash those income goals, and above all, create a life of abundance, well-being, and happiness. Join me as we slay imposter syndrome, level up your mindset, and get you feeling like you can achieve anything you want in your life or business. Because, you really can when you get your mind in the right place. Let's dive in and look at how you can show up bigger, better, and more uniquely aligned in life and business today. Hi, and welcome to Unblock Your Business, episode 52. So, this niching thing, let's talk about it because it drove me crazy when I first started my business and for quite a long time after, if I'm honest. So when I first started my business, I loved helping everyone. I also didn't have the first clue about niching or why it was supposedly such a great thing. So I just went out there and started taking action. And actually it did quite well. I didn't struggle for clients. My hypnotherapy clinic, as it was back then, booked up pretty quickly. And I did help people with all sorts of things without struggling to get clients. Some of those things I loved, some of them I didn't really love, but I quite enjoyed them. I have to say that I was in quite a competitive market back then, and also charging a bit of a premium compared to a lot of my local colleagues. Not loads more, but a little bit more. And I still didn't struggle. It wasn't a problem. So niching then wasn't even on my radar and it wasn't an issue. And then I started to move my business online, and there was this word niche everywhere I looked, or niche if you listen to any of the US, or if you are a US listener, niche will be the thing that you're more familiar with. But niche everywhere I looked, and of course I started to pay attention to this, as we do, like tuning into this new info. What's this thing I need to be doing? Am I doing things all wrong? And of course, when everybody's talking about it, you start to assume that it's something you should be doing. There's that lovely word should, my pet hate of a word. So back then, my first attempt at a membership launch failed fairly spectacularly, but not completely. And that was very, very general. There was no effort at niching involved at all, and it was just offering to help people feel more confident. So this was even before I'd really grasped the concept of niching or why you needed to niche. And it still attracted some attention, and it's still got some members. And I always kind of give it a hard time and say, what was I doing launching a membership as soon as I got online? I didn't have a clue, didn't get many people in it. But I did get some members, even though my messaging then was anything but niche. And it gradually became clear to me through that I didn't really know what I was doing with online marketing, and I was going to struggle to build this thing. So I started to look for help and advice and started to listen to the various experts I came across. And there was this consistent message, niche, niche, niche. I also learned some other really helpful messages, like you need to grow an audience and nurture them properly before you launch, which I think would have been really helpful for that membership. Oops. But at the time I was so convinced that I was doing something wrong by not niching that this really grabbed my attention, and that became a huge focus for me. And I think, if I'm honest, that really sent me into a bit of a tailspin and kind of drowned out the other messages about growing the audience and all those bits, because I kind of thought without a niche, without this niche being clear first, there's no point doing the rest of the stuff. I need to do this before I do anything else, or I'm never going to be able to fill this membership. So it felt like this was the first thing I needed to get clear on before I could do anything else. And I spent months agonizing over this and trying different things, rather than focusing on growing that audience and promoting my membership. And I became a little bit obsessed with who I was serving and working that out, and spent a lot of time doing free calls for market research and obsessing over the description of my Facebook group and like trying to make sure my posts were all sending out the right messages for fear of putting off my potential ideal client. Now, this was both good and bad in a way. I do wonder now if I had just run with that first imperfect and massively broad, totally non-niched membership and promoted the heck out of it. I wonder where that might have got to now. If I'd known what I was doing with growing an audience, etc. What actually happened instead was this long, convoluted journey of trying on different hats and worrying far too much about my marketing and my messaging. And a big part of the problem, I think, was that I didn't want to niche, and that was actually a huge part of the problem. Pretty much nothing bored me more than the idea of sticking to basically one script and putting out the same messages over and over again forever and not being able to evolve or do what I thought was really right for the client in front of me during my sessions. That really didn't appeal. I thought, I don't like the idea of having this like prescriptive program where there's no freedom for me to spot the issue in front of me and do what I think is really right with that rather than sticking to the program. No, thanks. That's just not how I work. I know that's not best for people. That's not in the client's best interest. It doesn't sit well. So I didn't want to pigeonhole myself as a mindset coach or a business coach or a money coach. And I didn't want to say that I was just for women, because although the majority of my clients are women, I love working with men and non-binary people too. Equality, right? What's wrong with that? And I also don't think I had sorted out all the mindset issues that I needed to sort out to allow me to serve back then in the way that I felt really excited to serve. So my lovely little membership got reincarnated for a while as the Six Figure Confidence Club, because I thought the name sounded cool and would attract the types of people that I wanted to work with. I had figured out by then that I loved working with ambitious people who wanted to achieve their highest level of success in business, and I thought that that would resonate. But they were held back by all their mindset issues. So I thought confidence, yeah, that's good. The thing was back then that I didn't have the six-figure confidence myself. I didn't have a good enough mindset around money and talking about money. And I think generally I wasn't confident enough in myself as a business owner to be really able to connect with people for that in a positive way. And I became massively uncomfortable with the name, thanks to some negative feedback I had from people who didn't like it and thought it didn't put out the right message. Because, of course, success isn't just about the money side of things. That's always been a huge part of my messaging. But money also is important, isn't it? And you can't have a lot of the things you want to have in life, especially freedom and time freedom, without having money behind it. So I thought this was a good idea. Other people thought, oh no, it's all about the money, and told me it didn't put out the right message. So I dropped it and I went with something that seemed a lot safer and a lot less scary. That meant I didn't have to talk about money and I didn't have to deal with that uncomfortable issue. I then thought that maybe I needed to go down the route of becoming a business coach, because that seemed to be a nice recognisable niche that everyone would get. And I did enjoy business coaching, and I worked with a few clients to help them on their business journeys. This is a long way on from that first experiment with the membership. So I'd learned a lot about business by then. And I did enjoy doing that. And I worked with a few clients, but somehow it just didn't seem as deeply satisfying to me as the real transformational work that I love to do and that kept calling me. So essentially for quite some time, I got myself in a right old pickle, and I felt very much tormented because I didn't feel like I fit a nice, neat niche. And then one day I just thought, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to do what I want to do and what feels good. I'm going to forget about this niching thing. I'm going to stop obsessing about my ideal client, and I'm just going to work with people I want to work with and help them with their businesses and their lives based on what they actually need at the time, rather than being super specific about my program. It was liberating and it was a lot of fun. And then at the end of 2021, I just finished working with this wonderful client who had been just a total dream, and we got her cutting down her hours by more than half and working way more efficiently, and she was having a day off a week entirely for herself, and she was having time with her family, and she'd been previously working like 7 days a week, ridiculous hours. She was being decisive rather than doubtful, and she wasn't procrastinating and doing all the wrong things anymore. She was actually, working on new business ideas that she felt excited about for the first time in ages, and with way more confidence around everything, including her pricing, and she'd made some brave decisions with that. And I thought I would just love to keep working with her. I know we could do so much with her business. And it was like this light bulb went off, and I just thought, oh, she's my dream client. Aha! Those are the things I want to help with. This is what I was put here to do. So I'd always known that I wanted to help with confidence and anxiety. That was what my original membership had been all about, because it's very dear to my heart, and it's been a massive journey for me to learn how to be confident. And I've had huge issues with that in the past, as you may know, but I'd been told that it wasn't something people would understand in my marketing, and therefore not something I should be talking about. But I looked back on the year at that point and reflected on the clients I'd worked with, and I realised that all the people I'd enjoyed working with the most had those similar themes, those common themes, which all came back to confidence and anxiety, and those kind of struggles causing their businesses to grind to a halt. So things like comparing themselves to others, and imposter syndrome, and constant self-doubt and deprecation, procrastination, but with massive burning ambition behind it, making them just incredibly frustrated with themselves. And they got sick of hearing all the things they should be doing, and strategy and mindset stuff, and they just kept like signing up for things and hearing the same message over and over, and knowing that that wasn't going to be the golden ticket. And they were taking courses and making investments that just were teaching them nothing new. And they were usually wildly aware that they weren't visible enough, and they were finding it a struggle to show up in their businesses, but they knew that they desperately needed to keep the wheels turning. They needed to get out there more. They were worried about money, or they didn't have a good grip on their finances, even though they were seeing some success and turning over a reasonable amount each month. And they struggled with time management and never-ending to-do lists, and they were struggling to balance work with their relationships and their personal lives. And they were noticing all this stress and anxiety spilling out into other areas of life too. So things like their sleep or driving or socialising was just not working well for them, and they were having all sorts of issues around those things too. So boom, that was it. Just wow, light bulb moment. This is what I need to help with. And I have been helping with that, but it just hadn't been super clear to me that this was the thing. So I sat down, I started mapping out the key areas I wanted to help with, and within the blink of an eye, there and then, I'd come up with an 8-week program that just felt absolutely amazing to me, and like I was born to do this. And I knew exactly who it was for. I'd found my niche, or rather, my niche had found me. You see, your niche for the vast majority of people is not something that you can come up with out of the blue and stick to forevermore. I mean, for some people, yes, you can just be really decisive and have a very clear idea from the word go and say, that's my thing and I'm going to do that and stick to it. And hats off if you can do that. I couldn't. But I've always had for me this deep awareness that I don't want to end up doing something that doesn't light me up and make me really happy. Because for me, business is such a large part of each day and such a large part of my life, and I've got to be passionate about it to be able to keep doing it, because as we know, this is not an easy journey, is it? It's something that requires every ounce of your dedication and passion. And yes, your business is in some ways a means to an end. So I often hear people say things like, just keep showing up, make the money, then worry about being happy. That's a philosophy that some people live by, but I would rather be happy now and not have my business as a means to an end, but have it as part of the picture that I love in my life. And of course, make money while doing it as well. It's just that I'm not afraid talking about money anymore either. So who knows, the 6-figure confidence club might just find its way back one of these days. So that's a big thing about niche for me. Just keep showing up, keep doing the things you enjoy, and your niche will find you. And it might be messy and it might take some time, but don't waste months trying to nail this ideal client and niche thing if it's causing you stress and strife and it's stopping you from taking action to do the useful things like being visible, growing your audience. Those are the things that are really going to help you down the line. So focus on working with what you do know now and keep building that audience. And as you grow and as you listen to the struggles your audience are having, and just as you evolve as a person, you will work out how you can best serve. Which brings me to one more really important thing about niche, and that is that I know some incredibly successful entrepreneurs who don't have time for the whole niche thing at all. So Leonie Dawson, who I'm working with in her mastermind right now, I know Carrie Green has spoken about this, Lizzie Goddard. There are plenty of very successful entrepreneurs out there who don't give niche a second look. And the reason that they are still super successful is because they are their niche. So niche doesn't have to be about what products you sell or to whom you are selling them. It's true that the more you can narrow that down, the more specialist you become and the higher the price you can charge. Yeah, that all kind of goes together. But if you're not excited by that, if you don't love the idea of narrowing yourself down and being super specific, you can still narrow down your appeal massively, and you can narrow that down to a small segment of the market just by being your beautiful, unique self and doing what plenty of other people are doing, but doing it your way. So yes, doing that, you'll probably put plenty of people off, but the more unique you are, the more you are you, the more you will cultivate a following of raving superfans who will either want to work with you or invest in your products themselves, or will recommend you and will spread the word to the right people. So do not worry about your niche. Just be you. Just boldly and consistently show up as you, doing what you do best and what you enjoy, and you will find your people. It may take some time, but you will. Superfans is a great phrase, by the way. Thanks to the wonderful Pat Flynn for that one. You can buy Pat's book Superfans through the link on my podcast episode at www.unblockyourbusiness.com/podcast. So I hope that has been helpful and a bit eye-opening. And I'd love to let you know today that I'm super excited to let you know that I'm opening up 3 spaces for amazing women to join me on that one-to-one program, that 8-week intensive experience that I mentioned, the Limitless Life Lab, and that is happening this summer. So if you'd like to check it out and see whether it might be for you, head over to www.unblockyourbusiness.com/work-with-me, or check out this week's show notes at www.unblockyourbusiness.com/podcast and just check out the links there. I am so excited to be running this again. The last round of results were phenomenal, and I would just love you to be rocking your world, feeling free from anxiety and full of confidence to do all those things in your business that are going to seriously shift the needle for you too. If, of course, you've been wanting to work with me forever and you just want to apply and you don't even need to read all about it, then you can also do that through the link at www.unblockyourbusiness.com/podcast and just have a look for today's episode, scroll down and find the link there. And I would absolutely love to hear from you. So I hope you've enjoyed that today. That is it from me for now. I'll leave you with those thoughts. I hope they have resonated and pushed some buttons, and I would love to hear from you, of course, if they have. So I shall be back next week, and in the meantime, have a wonderful week. Take care. Thanks for listening. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, it would be incredible if you could pop a review on iTunes, Google, or your favourite podcast platform. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible mindset and strategic updates every single week. And I would love you to head over to www.unblockyourbusiness.com, where you can pick up free resources for imposter syndrome, money mindset, and so much more, and join my incredible email community, the A-List. See you there.